Hey, what's going on, Gerald, man? I appreciate you. We're gonna have a good little conversation about the YouTube algorithm. I just want to kind of explain this before. I think it was during my 1K live appreciation, and this conversation still keep coming up to smaller content creators just asking a lot of questions, and a bigger content creators that be on specific panels saying like they don't either. They choose not to give a direct answer or willingness to help out, and a lot of conversations get a little confused with it. So we're gonna be a little bit helpful, add some tips and some helpful advice. Maybe I learned something too. I'm sure I will with this conversation with the YouTube algorithm because I hear a lot of questions like or comments. I might be on one panel and they'll do a stream of a video or somebody else's video, or I've seen one content creator make a comment saying like you can't put my face up on the screen because copy copyrighted, and I'm like that's weird because there's bigger content creators that has people faces just on their thumbnail. So again, make that make sense. So we're gonna break down a few of these myths and debunk a few of this. Uh, what was this? Shout out to Neriger. She said, "Oh, I thought we was going to see another man on a." That's funny. I do. That's one and done for me. That's one and done for me, New York. That's one and done for me. But hey, if it's all about examples, so and I'm all about solutions. So if something comes up to the point where you know what, I'm not even gonna entertain that. We're just gonna leave that as a New York thing for you. Oh man, shout out to you. That is funny. Do you want to see a man on a bench? Oh snap! That actually woke me up. I appreciate that. All right, so how's everybody doing? Gerald, appreciate you. Definitely appreciate you, New York girl with the last. Fly girl, appreciate you. We're gonna have a good conversation, Fly girl. I don't know if you're a content creator or see other content creators or just being in smaller spaces where everybody has so much opinions about YouTube. So we're gonna just talk pretty much the basis and keep a stance on the YouTube algorithm. So if you're new, you're just coming in, appreciate the 6 people just watching. Definitely hit the like button because that actually helps out the algorithm, and also help out the algorithm with this channel if you hit the bell notification too. That helps out a lot. If you are new as a subscriber, definitely hit the subscribe button so you have a combination of the two. So you hit the subscribe button, definitely hit the bell notification so it will let you know any ongoing streams or content that I lay down. That's live streams and preloads. Also, number two, anybody's on the replay also helps out with the algorithm here. So I definitely appreciate you guys if you hit a comment below. Anything that helpful on this content, this live stream, definitely hit comments, questions, complaints, or concerns. That also helps the algorithm just for me. But this is solution based and it helped out on both ends. So there you go. And even if you're a new content creator or just a OG in the spaces, meaning that you have like over 1,000, 2,005, 10, 20, whatever, and there's something that I may miss, and it will add any relevance to the table, to this content, definitely please hit the comments below and we will add that as value. I'm not going to address that. So try something new with a new program we're playing out with New York. All right, so here we go. So if anybody don't know and understand the YouTube algorithm, just think to yourself, what is an algorithm? So the small portion of an algorithm that I can kind of explain in a general sense is it's like the grapevine effect, right? If I tell New York something, and then New York tell to her friend something, and then it multiplies. You know, that's pretty much how the algorithm works. It's like one, either you're gossiping and the gossip and the rumors spread. And what happens to gossip and rumors, right? It changes over and over. But now the next person that gets it, it becomes more interesting and the story becomes more intriguing. Now, same thing if you're telling the truth. If you're telling the truth, depending on the type of story, I tell one friend, then you tell your friends, then you tell your friends, and so on and so on. It multiplies. So that's the general senses of how the basis of the algorithm works, you know? It expands. So now we're gonna break that down just a little bit based on the YouTube algorithm. So when people say, "Oh, those YouTube streets or the YouTube," you know, people think because they're in a small subsection, YouTube is very large. It's a trillion large and growing. So that means a trillion YouTube content creators. That means within the trillion of just making an account. So I'll use that New York girl for example. She is not a content creator. She's not an influencer. She's a regular, genuine person, meaning that she's made an account. She is part of YouTube. She's extension and one branch of the 0.0000001% of the YouTube algorithm. That's how that works versus which I which I make claims and I break it down three. What's going on? Forever trolling. Appreciate you. We're gonna break down some YouTube algorithm. Try to help some people out here, myself included. So it's always good to learn something new. So I always break out I break down YouTube in three different parts. I say, hey, there's regular folks, there are internet folks, and there's YouTube content creators. A genuine content creator worth their weight in gold and salt. They can tell another content creator from another content creator. A internet person, we could say a consistent person is always on YouTube or always a gamer, always a watcher, somebody that's a general investor within different types of content. You could be a troll. You are invested, right? So if you have a certain content that you like, or if you just a some people call a watcher or stalker or something like that, you are still a part of that algorithm. That's pretty much the internet people right there. Then you have the regular smuggler ones that generally have a life. They might say, hey, you know what? I just use YouTube. I watch this one specific program. They upload some stuff. I get home. I check it out from there. Hey, one particular regular smuggler person might say, hey, I watch 21st hour storming YouTube streams that only plays like rainy weathers and scenery type YouTube streams, and I'll pretty much just either just listen and watch, or I might just be in the chat because the chat is pretty much cool. Then you have the other regular smackle people say, hey, there's a channel just for the excuse my language, for the shits and giggles and a little bit of the drama. I will go there, and and so on. So those are three little brackets of people, but it branches out a large range, right? So if I say, hey, forever trolling, where you come from, and he or she might say, hey, well, I came from this side of YouTube. Again, YouTube is a trail large, and I'll be on the other end and say, hey, Great Pill Podcast, where you came from? Well, I just made a content, but originally I'm from this other section/sector of YouTube. That's how that works. So it's connections, a lot of connection building here. So we're gonna have this gentleman here help explain a little bit more better in detail about YouTube. So here we go.
Video, what they see within the video, and then performance second. How the video performs over time. How it spreads or how it's received by different marginal audiences. All right, now I need to talk about why this audience profile is so dang important. I'm gonna erase this in order to show you. Now we're gonna use the same, let's say we think we're targeting this segment of YouTube, but what if YouTube, based on the performance of your previous videos, or if your channel is small enough, it doesn't have enough data, what if they think that your audience is actually over here? And then
Okay, so let's go back to that right now. So he's explaining the grid of it.
show you. Now we're gonna use the same, let's say we think we're targeting this.
Okay, so let's use that example. That is me. Okay. Brand new, just started a YouTube channel. I'm saying to myself, hey, generally when a person starts a YouTube channel, their first instinct is to reach out to friends and family. Like, hey man, can you sub to my channel? Most you might get off the rip is maybe up to 30 to 50 ups of subs instantly because You have friends and families and people of that nature to kind of help you out. That's usually how that works. Okay.
segment of YouTube. But what if YouTube, based on the performance of your previous videos, or if your channel is small enough, it doesn't have enough data, what if they think that your audience is actually over here? And then going back to the previous example, if you published a piece of content over here, we're gonna have a disconnect if the algorithm sees that your audience is actually over here because they test it first.
Okay, so you got in the red, so pretty much the algorithm on one side, so that's on you. Moving over to one end, so we're trying to do it connect. So the blue is the test, the green is the channel, and the red is the algorithm.
With your audience profile. This red ring, they test it first with that. And if it doesn't perform well because it's over here, then many times I see videos being dead in the water, which is why I say that it's ideal that, remember this green right here is your audience lens where you're trying to target on YouTube. If the audience lens and the profile are the same, that is the ideal space. Because that means whenever you're publishing a piece of content in there, you also have the audience already in the audience profile for it to spread from. And in order to do this, to get the two aligned, you can either follow the audience profile and see, well, okay, where is my audience positioned? And then move your lens there, or you can keep publishing content within a lens to keep giving the algorithm indicators that this over here is actually where your lens is.
All right, so the YouTube lens, that could mean your niche, right? So let's just say your niche is about just genuine cooking. Well, you know what? We'll use Peace Love, for example, because I think she's a perfect example of what her niche is currently now. So Peace Love, for example, her niche is about reviews, and she's currently doing documentaries, right? And she's one at a time having, she can either do a solo, do a review, or she'll have on a guest, right? So now, if she's currently doing nothing but that, YouTube will pick it up, slowly start pushing the algorithm spinning out, and other people will see that. So now we know, just in general, there's a large number of people that love Netflix. Then we know there's a large number of people that loves documentaries. So now they're going to have an instant connection with her because this is something they can relate to.
Is this blowing your mind thus far? I'm not done yet. I'm hoping it is blowing your mind though. And if it is thus far, I'd love if you would boop the like button so that it can spread to more people and more people can be aware, finally understand visually how the YouTube algorithm works. Thank you for doing that. You see, I need to clear this one more time because there's another concept you need to understand based on audience profile. You see, what if the algorithm doesn't have enough data on what your audience is? It doesn't matter what size your lens is or what you're trying to target on YouTube. What if the profile that the algorithm has for you is only this big?
Keep that in mind. Process it.
Really small profile. This is often the case of very small YouTube channels that are just starting off. You only have a small data pool to pull from, so that when you publish a video, it's only going to be within a very small segment of YouTube. And if the profile is small, they might test it here, and they might test it here, and then that's it. And this isn't because the algorithm somehow hates you or your channel. It means that in most cases, the data,
Which is very frustrating for a lot of people because they don't understand, like, either their audience. It could be a number of things, right? Number one, you're a human being, so time is of the essence. Time is of the essence. There's a lot of content creators that either have a team, or they are or just on their self, they're very knowledgeable of how to do a lot of video editing, thumbnails, actually schedules, and they can choose to say, hey, I choose to do live podcasting versus I choose to do pre-recordings, editing. It is regular uploads. So time management. Now it's about personality. If you have a good personality, that adds into that too. So if you just have a not a really interesting personality, the thumbnail's not great, or the video's not really engaging, or just 6 hours straight of live streaming versus uploading, and there's no real weight in it. Like, for example, I heard one person say, hey, well, I did a live stream. I came here. It was boring. So I went to somewhere else. They had an option. You know, that's pretty much how it goes. So usually that little blip on the map that he just put, that's pretty much where you would normally stay at. I've seen content creators that's no harm, no foul to them. They would be at like doing content for like over 10 years and same views, same everything. Yeah.
or the profile needs to grow gradually over time. It's actually a very positive thing because your job then is to keep publishing videos and keep going around this area so that you literally expand the audience profile so that you can see what type of audience likes your content. The algorithm can see more and more people are liking this content because this channel has proven that they create good, engaging content. And I can trust them based on previous viewers to spread it more quickly. This is why it seems like larger channels have such a big advantage on YouTube, because if your audience profile was this big, you literally
If your audience profile was that big. So right now, we're given with YouTube is very saturated, and you do have a larger content creators versus yourself, depending on what your niche is. So you have to play around with what you got and work on your strengths and weaknesses.
have a larger starting bed of previous viewers, of preferences, and all of that to test a video with when you publish. The algorithm can literally test a video with a larger group from get-go. Which, by the way, I don't know if you caught that, but I just straight up answered why videos perform the way they do on YouTube, and also why YouTube can say that they treat each piece of content independently, and yet it keeps seeming like larger channels have their content perform better or spread more quickly. It's for this exact reason. If you didn't catch that, go back and rewatch this section. So the kicker here is one of your biggest jobs with your channel is to expand the audience profile, to know where you're targeting, your channel arc, in the entirety of the audience on YouTube. You have a small channel profile right now, or whatever size it is. Your job is to expand it by literally training the algorithm on what kind of audience you're targeting and that you can produce good videos. And each piece of content that you publish trains the algorithm in 3 ways. The first is it shares content on a topic where
Shares content on a topic.
you're targeting. The second is it shows the algorithm the audience's reasons for watching your content. And then the
Shows reasons for watching. And number 3, how they like to watch. Keep that in mind.
third is it shows how they like to consume your content. All right, let's walk through some common scenarios now. The most common scenario we'd be looking at is you publish a video and it does not do well. Let's visually show you why that happens. So let's say you're targeting this area of YouTube, but first let's get the example of maybe your audience profile is really small. Maybe it's really this small and you publish a video right here and it's just being tested with this audience and boom, that's the only audience you're gonna get, and it's okay because you're continually training the algorithm, but for now, that's why that happens. And that is why for many channels at the beginning, you have what I call a ghost town phase of your channel, where you're just figuring yourself out, you're figuring out your audience. You may not even know or be aware of the channel arc or where your lens is targeting. And so you're in the process of training yourself, but also training the algorithm where to put your content. It's not bad, it just means you need to keep going. But let's say for a moment that you have a more...
Keep that in mind. Doesn't mean it's bad or good. You just got to keep going. Got to keep going. And that's part of YouTube. It's trial and error on everything you do. Trial and error.
established channel, and let's say your audience profile is a bit bigger. Maybe there's a little bit of overlap, but this is the general area that you have your audience. If you published a video and it didn't do well, the first option is you just made a bad video. It wasn't an enjoyable video, and that's okay. Just learn from it. That's possible. But more commonly, especially if you're a more established channel and you've been doing YouTube for a while, it looks like this. You thought you were publishing within your audience lens or the audience profile, but you actually published a video over here, or even off the map. And why this is so significant, and I hope you are reading between the lines of what we've covered thus far, why this matters so much is because if it's not within your audience profile, it will probably not do very well because the test group is off. And this video did not do well with your core or your previous audience profile, the previous viewers. Therefore, it has a smaller starting group, which in many cases, let's say you published a video and YouTube is trying to test it over here with your audience profile right here, but it's not doing well. They try some surrounding tests and it still doesn't do well because your video is all the way over here. Then they're going to...
Okay, so when he said that, now let me play that back because a lot of people get that so confused when they're thinking about shadow banning. So let me play that again.
Let's say you published a video and YouTube is trying to test it over here with your audience profile right here, but it's not doing well. They try some surrounding tests and it still doesn't do well because your video is all the way over here. Then they're going to say, okay, at this point, we're going to lay off, we're going to hold off and maybe do some more generic testing. And at that point, the testing by the algorithm is a bit more generic, meaning they have to just go off of know the metadata, but it's not doing well with this audience. Maybe it will do well with this audience profile, maybe over here. Maybe over here, we're not sure. So sometimes videos will take off over time. Why does that happen? It's because possibly what they've done is they've tested, and then they tried over here. Remember your original video, maybe it was published right here, this blue circle right here, and they tested and they said, oh my gosh, okay, now it picked up with this audience. Now we can start expanding.
Now that's a perfect example of what a lot of content creators say before, like they felt like the best video ever. Shout out to Lead Attorney. They did the best video ever a year ago. It doesn't do anything. It'll stay in that little section here that he mentioned. And then a year later, it'll start to do well. And then 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 it 2 years later, 5 years later, it'll pick up here, and the next thing it'll start blowing up, meaning it start expanding more over time and start expanding more. Because YouTube is always testing that particular video or the ones before it. So that's generally how that works. So I'm not gonna play the rest of it. So that's pretty much the whole basis of it, from how he's explaining the YouTube algorithm. And there's one more here because I'm not gonna waste that many people time. Just give another example of the YouTube algorithm.
Is specifically
Yeah, if you do, I appreciate you coming on through. Definitely hit the like button. So again, we're explaining the algorithm here. Definitely helps out. So hit the if you're new, hit the subscribe button. Definitely hit the bell. That helps out with this algorithm over here for this channel, for more and more to watch. So here we go.
creator. So the first thing that you need to know is the YouTube algorithm is specifically designed to keep people on the platform watching videos for as long as possible so YouTube can run ads and make money. The goal is truly that simple. However, actually getting there is quite complicated. YouTube is analyzing over 80 billion different signals from viewers each day, and then analyzing how videos like yours perform with different audiences. All of this informs their machine learning algorithms to help determine the right video for the right viewer at the right time. If your video YouTube algorithm just like this one. So in today's episode, we're gonna cover the top 5 things that you need to know about the YouTube algorithm, especially if you're a newer YouTube creator. So the first thing that you need to know is the YouTube algorithm is specifically designed to keep people on the platform watching videos for as long as possible so YouTube can run ads and make money. The goal is truly that simple. However, actually getting there is quite complicated. YouTube is analyzing over 80 billion different signals from viewers each day, and then analyzing how videos like yours perform with different audiences. All of this informs their machine learning algorithms to help determine the right video for the right viewer at the right time. If your videos help to keep viewers happy and on the platform longer, they will be aligned with the goals of the YouTube algorithm. But if you're constantly trying to get people to go from watching one of your videos on the platform to visiting your website off of the platform, then you're working against the goals of the algorithm. So it's really
Let's run that back so that can get explained because a lot of people don't understand that.
But if you're constantly trying to get people to go from watching one of your videos on the platform to visiting your website off of the platform.
Okay, so if you're constantly trying to get people to check out, again, this is when you're starting out. So if you're constantly trying to get people to, if YouTube is your main focus, especially with the algorithm, and you're trying to get them to, from YouTube, and you're promoting to other platforms that you have, let's say Instagram, TikTok, other places like that, right? And even Twitter. What you're doing is you're driving away people from YouTube to go there. That's pretty much how it goes. So you have to keep them engaged here once you start out for the YouTube algorithm. Now, if YouTube is your main focus, you do the opposite. So you're doing either shorts or little messages, segments, or clips or whatever from your YouTube, and you're putting it onto either TikTok or Instagram or Twitter. So when people see that on that end of the algorithm within Instagram, Twitter, and the other one, what happened is your audience is going to be more curious, going to be more involved and more engaged, and they're going to say, hey, well, where can I get more of this? Most humans, they're curious, so they're going to take from there and then go over to YouTube where they're going to generally find you. And that's pretty much how that works with this.
Platform, then you're working against the goals of the algorithm. So it's really important to keep this in mind. If you want the best chance of growing, you should try to keep people on YouTube for as long as possible. So the second thing that you need to understand is that YouTube knows a lot more about your content than just what you list in the metadata, like tags, titles, and descriptions. YouTube's AI starts to analyze your video the moment the upload process starts. So during the upload process, YouTube is collecting information about the video frame by frame and identifying
All the time. Anytime you, even when you pre-upload. So say for example, like this one, right, just on the fly, straight from the heart, just doing this from of a helpful tip need basis, right? So if you're into live podcasting or just preload, we'll go with live podcasting for a second. So if you're doing a live stream and you plan it out, we'll use another person example. We'll say Sir Hell Speak, because he's very organized with his pre-recordings. Excuse me, not his pre-recordings. He's very organized with his uh, uh his live stream. So let's say what's today's Monday. Let's say he has one planned out for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. What happens? You already have them up and ready, uploaded with all the bells and whistles, the thumbnails, the messages, all that good stuff. YouTube is gonna already start sourcing that out, what they call impressions. So it's gonna start testing out all over. Then, based on your impressions, whoever sees it, depending on the thumbnail, because that content creator never said anything, he never spoke about it, he never mentioned anything. So they're gonna get involved. They're gonna get engaged with either the thumbnail, because that's intriguing, that's inviting, and then they're gonna, like most people do, get very curious. They're gonna go down this content creator's channel, see what other content he have, and then based on the scheduled of the Tuesday show, Wednesday show, Thursday show, Friday show, they're gonna say, hey, all right, I can plan a time out for that one and see this individual live and see what this content creator has, what's going on, and see what they have up their sleeve. That's pretty much how that works with YouTube. That's when, again, when you have your YouTube already for live streaming already prepped and ready. Now, if you're doing it for pre-recordings, meaning like pre-recorded uploads already hot and ready on the presses, is out there. So YouTube is back earlier from the first video. It's going to be testing out there. Remember the little small grid he said? Hey, it's first started here. YouTube going to place your content over this area of the YouTube world in that sphere. Test it out over there. If it's no hits, okay, it's going to either bring it back or stay there, or it's going to test it somewhere else. That's pretty much how that goes. So YouTube is always going to be consistently testing you on everything, what your content, whether it's done pre-recordings or live streams. And then after your live stream is done, it's still going to be testing you everywhere within YouTube consistently. I don't care if the video is like a year, 2 year, 3 years old. Because there's some content that I actually go back and watch that's actually 2 to 3, whatever years, depending on how much I liked it, or if it's interesting, or I just say, this content creator is a very interesting person. Let me see how his growth development is. And again, that's just me as a content creator.
Trying things like scene changes, objects, places, people, and even facial expressions.
Again, object, scene change, facial expressions, people, place.
So YouTube does factor in metadata, but for the most part, things like thumbnails, titles, and descriptions should be created with the viewer in mind.
Keep that in mind.
And help them to make the decision to click on your video. After your video has been uploaded and people start to watch it, YouTube analyzes viewer signals. So are people clicking on your videos? Are they watching all the way through? After they watch one video, do they watch another one of your videos? And then also, how satisfied are they with the content? So the third thing that you need to know is that not all metrics are created equal, and the ranking has changed over time.
YouTube rating system keeps changing all the time. That is very true. Even right now with the New Year's, a lot of stuff got updated and educated for a lot of people, especially with content creators. You can even people, again, the regular folks, you can even check on your own. There's a lot of new stuff that's out there. Even maybe 3-4 months ago, just give one example, where it used to be the rules was for YouTube, if you had 500 subscribers, you automatically had an achievement where you can use the community tab. Now they updated and changed it where everybody from 1 subscriber to like a million subscribers everybody can use a community tab. A lot of people that actually worked and busted their butt to 500 subscribers wasn't very happy with that. Matter of fact, they were surprised and shocked, but that's how YouTube does it. So, and YouTube also changed and did some updates with your shorts and other videos. So there you go. But we're talking about the algorithm, but that was just one of few.
So for many years, YouTube was optimizing for clicks and views. So how many people were clicking on a video and sticking around just long enough for it to be counted as a view. So it was the highest factor in ranking videos and determining which videos to promote across the platform. But that really wasn't the best indicator of whether or not someone actually enjoyed the content or even stuck around and actually watched the video for longer than 30 seconds before clicking away. So this unintentionally incentivized clickbaity content. So a lot of misleading titles and thumbnails.
A lot of misleading.
With content that wasn't really what the viewer was expecting. YouTube received a lot of complaints about this type of content being recommended, so they did evolve the system and prioritize watch time over views and clicks. So watch time is the time people actually spend watching your videos. YouTube has also included viewer satisfaction and responsibility data so they can try to assess the quality of watch time. So this is an effort to maximize viewers' enjoyment on the platform, so they keep coming back, and at the same time, minimize the spread of misinformation or harmful content. So they largely do this through surveys and feedback from viewers on the actual video. So the fourth thing to know is that there really isn't just one YouTube algorithm. It's a collection of different.
Let's put that out there one more time, because when people hear algorithm, they think of one, so that is not 100% true. So we're going to have a echo chamber that.
The actual video. So the fourth thing to know is that there really isn't just one YouTube algorithm. It's a collection of different decision models personalized to the viewer and the perceived intent of the viewer at the time. They do have different decision models for search, suggested, home, the trending tab, the subscription tab, and notifications. So in this video, I'm just going to cover the basics for search and suggested since it's the easiest to optimize for. But let me know in the comments below if you want me to do a deep dive on any of the sections. So for search, when someone is searching for a video, they're actively giving YouTube information about what they want. So
okay, so this is very important too, because I remember I had a very polite debate with a gaggle of people where they claimed that in order for me to find another content creator or another YouTuber, we have to be subscribed to each other. That is not true. I also was told that the only way we can find one another unless we both have to be monetized. That again is not true. That is false. We do not have to be subscribed to one another. We don't have to be monetized to one another. We don't have to be anything one another. Is generally happens about, hey, either whatever I type and it's in the realms of whatever your content is, or even in your tags under the hood of your YouTube, meaning that whatever I thumbnail tag or whatever keywords, key phrases in YouTube on my end, that's pretty much what it is. Heck, even whatever I talk about. So if I talk about fried chicken, all of my content, the next day I know I change it to donuts, and something will pop up in the algorithm say, hey, well, he somehow just switched it up from chicken to donuts. So I'm feeling donuts from Monday to Friday. So guess what I may or may not find in the algorithm for my end. And again, YouTube is like free TV, right? So again, free TV, you always changing the channel. So in your search engine, you're always going to go different routes with your search engine. And YouTube is going to try to help you out, the regular smuggler people, like I explained earlier, and the internet folks, right? So you're going to be searching and looking. So when you're searching and looking, and if you're stuck there, YouTube is going to say, hey, let me help you out. And then they're going to spawn some other stuff in this algorithm right here within YouTube to try to push it for you. It happens all the time. If anybody ever had Facebook, same thing. You would just either thinking that you were just talking to somebody about housewares and stuff. The next thing you know, you look at your Facebook, you're seeing stuff similar related to a conversation you just previously had. That's part of an algorithm. It's trying to help you help yourself. Same thing with Instagram. If you're scrolling up, you're like, I don't remember this. I never thought about this, whatever. It pops up. It's part of your algorithm. So make it make sense.
So YouTube is then trying to find the video that will have the highest chance of matching what the viewer is looking for and will keep them interested. So YouTube themselves have said that they are not just looking for videos with fully optimized titles and descriptions, they're also factoring in viewer signals like watch time of a particular video for a particular query. So that last part is really important. If YouTube recommends your videos for a specific search term and people respond well to it, YouTube will continue to recommend those videos for the specific query. Now,
I'll play that one more time, then we're going to close out.
This part is really important. If YouTube recommends your videos for a specific search term and people respond well to it, YouTube will continue to recommend those videos for the specific query. Now for suggestions.
And there you have it. So that pretty much sums up the just to give a good basis of YouTube algorithm. Uh, I will leave both their links in the description so you can find them. They're very helpful, especially the first gentleman, because there's a lot of stuff I followed on his, and he explains everything, even down to the thumbnail. So yeah, appreciate everybody for coming on through. Yeah, I got time, so appreciate New York for the last. So that actually woke me up. So I might talk about have a conversation about somebody else. I don't know if they might be sitting on the bench though, New York. I just don't know, but we'll find out. You know what? We'll keep each other surprised. So again, if you're new, hit the subscribe button. Definitely helps out with the algorithm. Definitely hit the bell notification. Make sure the all section is activated so that help out. And yeah, and we'll take care.